we drew so many cards this game, and this is just a common theme with this deck. We're just going to draw so many cards. Yeah. Overcharge Amalgam. Hello YouTube, welcome to MTGA Day, and today we are going to have a look at Rigo, Streetwise Mentor in Historic Brawl. This deck aims to win by tempoing out the opponent with extremely explosive starts. So, Rigo, Streetwise Mentor. Whenever you attack a player or planeswalker with one or more creatures with power 1 or less, draw a card. This is the relevant line on Rigo. And he enters with a shield counter, so he even protects himself, which is pretty neat. Note that this ability doesn't trigger per creature attacking, it triggers per target. So if I have 5 creatures that attack the opponent, I only draw 1 card. Well, 5 creatures with power 1 or less, that is, right? But if I split these creatures evenly, like, not even evenly, right? If at least one of those creatures attacks a planeswalker that they control, then we draw a card for each planeswalker that this is also attacking. So basically, you draw per target you're attacking, not per creature you're attacking with. The whole idea here is to have extremely explosive starts, and the consistency here comes from our 33 1-drops that we have in our deck. So for example, an Arboreal Grazer or Kami of Bamboo Groves is extremely good in your starting hand, because play Grazer on turn 1, then you can play Rigo on turn 2 and attack with the Grazer immediately and draw a card off of it. It doesn't matter if it deals damage or not, right? It just has to attack. That is also the reason why we play cards like Ornithopter in the deck, and a bunch of unblockable or hard to block creatures like Faerie Seer, Mist-Cloaked Herald, and so on. What plays well with those cards, you might ask? Well, ninjas. Ninjas are basically the way we are trying to finish off the opponent. We do have some games where we just don't even play Rigo. We go 1-drop turn 2 ninja, and then we don't even play Rigo on 3 because we have a ninja in play on turn 2, and you know, we usually want to play Rigo when we draw a card immediately off of it. Then at the top end, we have some flash threats. Overcharge Amalgams, Wandering Emperors, and then Imrith and Time Warp to finish off the curve, because we do need to actually kill the opponent and reduce their life total to 0, which is not always the easiest task if you're trying to beat down with 0/2s. So this is basically where we're going with here, and let's just see how it goes. So if you enjoy the content, please consider liking the video. Let's go. We are ready to play against the first sliver. And let's see. I think I like this starting hand. Yeah, I definitely like it. I have a Mana Tithe if they are on the Cascade version with Maze's End. Oh my god, yes. This is the exact start I was talking about. Okay, we go Kami. Yep. Put in the Temple Garden, tapped. And we are doing it. This is pretty great. So now starting the next turn we attack with our Kami. Okay, they are on the actual Slither plan here. So maybe we don't want to do that. So we can go like Saruli Caretaker into Suspicious Stowaway. Definitely want to counter the first sliver with a Mana Tithe. I think slivers in general are a really bad matchup for us because they play a mid-rangey game plan to the board. It should be okay once we deal with the first couple of slivers, but I don't think we need to deal with a blade back sliver specifically. So yeah, Stowaway. And I think the Saruli Caretaker is a bit less likely to die here. No attacks. So yeah, next turn I can go with Rigo, and funnily enough, I think I want to sacrifice the Kami of Bamboo Groves to draw a card here, because the werewolf flipped and we just are going to draw a card out of it. Yep, draw another card. It's totally fine by me. And usually we are looking into like playing a lot of blue sources early, but here I'm just going to play the Sentinel and keep up the Mana Tithe. And we flipped our own stowaway back, which is actually better or something for in some cases in this situation. The regular cohort, I think we have to tithe that so they have less slivers on the field. And then we're going to Fateful Absence the first sliver instead of countering with it. Okay, blue source, and then we're going to attack first. Attack with these two. Ooh. But if they trade us, I'm actually fine with that. Yeah. So now we get to draw a discard here. Don't need you. And then I am going to... I don't have one more mana up actually. So let's just take our extra turn here. Oh, that's an Immorith. The question is, do we want to play this Fairy Wendell now? Or later? I don't think they are playing board wipes. Maybe... Interesting. I think we want to see what we draw first. And I don't want to... I think... If I attack with Rigo, then they have... I have one less mana potentially, because these need to tap out the creatures. But I do want to beat them down, so... I think this is actually how I want to do it. And then... Yep, draw a card. Discard a Once Upon a Time, don't need that. Play you, Immorith, and I hold up Fateful Absence. Yep, and turn. Pretty good, pretty good. Fateful Absence, Fading Hope, Fairy Vandal. Bunch of plays I can make here. And they play the first sliver. That is fine by me. Okay, that doesn't matter too much. And we are just going to Fateful Absence the first sliver. And they surrender. GG. We are ready to play against Ziotora. And against Ziotora specifically, I really like Shaper Sanctuary plus Uro. Because I think the life gain from Uru will be relevant, and Junt's interaction is mostly targeted. So I think I just like going Tapland on one. Oh, now I can get the Snarl out of the way. Yeah, reveal the headquarters, and I think Raven. Yeah, Raven in case I draw a ninja. It's close though. Oh, that's an Elves. Yeah, I think I want Elves in play. I know I can't play Elves plus Sanctuary next turn, which is a bit awkward, but it's fine. Next turn I can drop Rigo, and attack with the Raven, draw a card, and play a Sanctuary. I should play Rigo off the Llanowar Elves and keep up the Spora's headquarters though. They have 4 mana currently. Let's see what they do. Feign Death. Are they board wiping? Oh no, Omnixilus the Adversary. That is actually a really good card against us. Because the minus is actually quite relevant. We're just going to decline this. Okay. Overgrown Frogland. Yep. Although Shaper Sanctuary makes this really nice for us. Okay. And Sanctuary.
I'll cut you down.
And this Omnixilus is a decent problem, but whenever they target something with the devil, we are
my entertainment.
We are drawing a card, and like if we attack them with Llanowar Elves and the Omnixilus with Raven, we draw 2. Overall, that shouldn't be too bad. They're going to play the commander. they sacrifice the devil here, then they kill our creatures here. We are going to draw a card for each of the targets. Yep. And yeah, the early Ziatora is actually quite problematic. Ooh. I think I just like going for this Fateful Absence. But I think I also want to Uro first. Yeah, let's see. Putting another blue source into play, Fateful Absence. Ooh, that is extremely mean. Yep. I love it. Fading Hope, return you. I think that's fine. Yeah, and we end turn. The problem they have with Ziatora is that the card actually doesn't do too much on its own once they run out of cards. I think they're going to try to ping down my Rigo again. Okay. I hope they play a 3-drop here, just, or like a 4-drop, I mean, just tap completely out here. Yes, and then Mana Tithe, beautiful. And I think I want to deal with Obnixilis, I'm not sure though. No, if I deal with the Ziatora, they really can't cast that again. It's just really good for us. Unless they sacrifice a creature. But I doubt they're going to. If they don't sacrifice a creature, I will kill Ziatora. Yep, and otherwise they would have gotten the treasures, but now they're so far off of casting that again. Let's see, that's 5. I can play a fetch land here actually to get my Uro into play. I think I want a green source on the field. Although... yeah, green source. But we're going to Uro first, so I can play the Plains and play the March of Swirling Mist if I actually need to. Off of the Sparrow's headquarters and pitch a suspicious stowaway. Okay. Yep. Get rid of you. And I think I'm fine actually just trading Rigo for a devil here. Yep. And now we're in a great position actually. And if they have exile removal, we can just march, pitching the suspicious stowaway. Yep. They're super far off of casting the commander, it's great. That happens. Yeah, I'm going to block. Fragment Reality. This exiles... I think they have a bunch of 1-drops, but maybe it's worth it to exile their underdog here. If I swing him with everything... with everything. Just Obnixilis. Super fine with that, actually. And depending who they block, I can exile... like, if they double block the Uro... yep, they don't do that. I think I will once upon a time here.
My empire crumbles.
I think I like a Saruli Caretaker. Maybe just a land though, but... just a Saruli Caretaker. I have enough lands. I'm thinking if I should even fragment Reality or something, but maybe I just get rid of the devils to protect my stowaway. Honestly, if they kill the stowaway, I might just fragment my own stowaway in response, if they want to try to kill that. No, I think I'm fine with just... oh, it's non-token. Nope, that's non-token. Yeah, let's try to get rid of Itali and see what they get. Yeah, professional Facebreaker is a bit worse for them. GG. that is the game. We are ready to play against Tulane. And I would keep this just based on the turn 2 Jukai Liberator if we had the mana to like do it. But I'm going to mull it. It looks great, but in reality it's a bit too slow, I feel like, and this deck mulligans really well. Well, there is the turn 2 Jukai Liberator that I talked about earlier, so let's keep this. And this is exactly the hand where we don't play Rigo on curve, because we don't have anything there. Swords to Plowshares is obviously a great way to deal with their commander, and I will make my land drops, like the Scry, the basically guaranteed getting a land out of the deck from the Liberator. All of those great things, and then I can just smooth it out into a flash late game. And this very much currently looks like a game where I potentially just don't play Rigo. So let's see. Yep, let's keep turn 1 Silver Raven, really important. And I think I will keep this Temple Garden on top. It's just good mana, good for the double white. And I do have my land drop for next turn, so I think I'm going to say non-land maybe? Yeah, let's say non-land. If I get a green 1-drop, that is huge upside. Yeah, because now I can go Silver Raven, Hope of Ghirapur, hold up Swords to Plowshares. The exhaust, that's fine. Do I Swords to Plowshares that? Probably not, I'm fine if they trade. Liberator. I'm going to say non-land again. I eventually want more white sources, but I think it's fine right now. I could just dump my hand. I don't think I will expect the board wipe, and I don't think I will need the Swords to Plowshares. So Silver Raven, Fairy Vandal does kill them eventually. It is a win condition, but so is Wandering Emperor. I think I will hold off. Okay. Let's see. Now we are very likely to connect. Yep. No 1-drop. Oh yes, that's a Moonstruck Attacker. And I think I will likely want to attack with everything. Draw a card here. Yep. We are going to Ninjutsu in the Silver Raven, and we're going to crack the Hope of Ghirapur. I don't know if they run board wipes, right? But let's see. I want to trigger these ninja stacks correctly. Jukai Liberator, we want to use that as late as possible to work with the most information. So we draw a card off of this, and you see that's exactly the thing. Now we can name non-land because we made our land drop, right? And just to be safe, Hope of Ghirapur them. Better safe than sorry, really. Because now if they can't interact with us, we are going to have a overcharged Amalgam, and we can either play Swords to Plowshares or Witness Protection on the board, and that should do the trick in the long run. So yeah, there are really not many cards that can stop us right now. And drawing the Glacial Fortress is kind of perfect here. We want more blue, we want more white. Just exactly what we want. If they play Tulane, we will definitely just... Okay. They play the Tessian Champion. What do we make of that? Interesting. We could just flash in a Wandering Emperor, but I'd rather have the Overcharge Amalgam up. If we swing it with everything. Yeah, let's just swing it with everything and see how they block, and depending on that we are going to Wandering Emperor. If they don't do that, or like if they don't make great blocks here, I think I want to Time Warp in between, even though this like is pretty good right now. I think I'm fine sacrificing this Moon Circuit Hacker for a Time Warp play. So I think I want to hit my land drop here for next turn. And Time Warp. And we are going to discard the Silver Raven, not really needed anymore. We're going to swing in again. If they block, I'm going to... Yep, that is fine by me. And now I hold up a Wandering Emperor or an Overcharge Amalgam. Okay. Putting in a Plains. Beautiful. Yeah, this is just extremely nice. We also have just Negate up, Solstice the Plowshares, just overall a ton of protection. We can flash in Wandering Emperor, create a token in their end step. Just all sorts of options here, and we're just drawing so many cards. Like, look at this. We have 78 cards left and they have 87 cards left. This is ridiculous. We drew so many cards this game, and this is just a common theme with this deck. We're just going to draw so many cards. Yeah. Overcharge Amalgam. Sacrifice a Slither Blade. And we have Lethal on board. GG! We are ready to play against Joda. And, turn 1 Sentinel. Turn 2 Signet Curious Obsession on Sentinel. It's not the most conventional play, but I think it's the correct one. This deck is full of unconventional plays. You can do so many shenanigans, for example with ninjutsu. For example, you can ninjutsu in between the first strike and the regular damage. Like, you attack with a creature, you give it first strike with Wandering Emperor, then it deals first strike damage. In between first strike and normal damage, you ninjutsu in, and then the ninjutsu creature, if it doesn't have first strike, which all of them don't have in the deck, right? Just deals regular damage, and that is really nice. So let's see. We're very likely to play white here, but the only thing that I dislike about this is that we are going to Curious Obsession and Jaspera Sentinel, but at the same time I don't think they have enough cheap creatures. Like, it doesn't matter if this is a 1/1 flyer or 1/2 Sentinel in this case, because their commander is like a big flyer. Big in quotation marks, but you know where I'm getting at. So, do I even play this on... I think I have enough white with the Sun Petal Growth and the Arcane Signet, so I'm going to be greedy and play this on blue. Curious Obsession, and note that the Obsession puts the creature outside of the Rigo range in this case. Yeah, we want to have the untapped land here next turn. That would be our best draw. But this is exactly another hand where I'm like, okay, Rigo is not always going to be necessary. I want to hold up the miscast for unfortunate events. I don't expect too much interaction here. Like, Brazen Borer is what they could have here to deal with the Jaspera Sentinel, but yeah, they have Karuga as a companion, so what can they even do, right? Okay, we didn't draw the untapped land. Let's attack first with Jaspera Sentinel. Yep. There is the untapped land. I'm thinking Sun Petal Growth Rigo just to guarantee the Imrith next turn, or go Toski, hold up miscast, or Spell Pierce. Manalith, sure. Yeah, I think I like the miscast or spell pierce plan here. Just beat them down and then I can mood snare specialist their commander if I need to. Refill the hand. And now we are going to hold up a bunch of counter magic. You see like how much blue we have in this deck? We really wanted to play that pathway in blue. I think I want to spell pierce that. Well, we're just going to need blue anyways, all the time, every time. Let's Gingerbrute. Swing in. Draw 5 cards, I believe. And our board is like threatening enough that we don't need to make any hasty plays here. Yep, draw a card. We're going to obviously discard a bunch of cards. How much life do they have in total? 1, 2. So this is 4, 5, 6, and then this represents 9. And this represents if you... Yeah, this is a lethal next turn already. So I think I'm just going to play out a Jaspera Sentinel and then just say go with a miscast and a make disappear up and a wash away. Yeah, discard you and discard the Saruli Caretaker. I don't think they will be able to do anything here. Like, I highly doubt it, because make disappear is really hard to counter as well. Because it's like 2 separate cards on the stack. We can make disappear, we can miscast a counter, we can just hardcast wash away, although I really don't think we need this. Like, these 2 alone basically cover every single option that they could have. Shock themselves, sure. Farewell. Let's draw first. We are going to miscast that. Yep, resolve. And they surrender. GG! We are ready to play against Shadowfang. And if their commander resolves, we should be in a lot of trouble, really. Although, this is a hand. Would you look at that? We have a Llanowar to deal with their commander temporarily, we have a Time Warp to attack multiple times, and we have a turn to Rigo with a Grazer attack, and I think we're going to draw enough interaction. So, let's see. If this game was on the play, this would have been obviously backbreaking, but the way it is... Oh, this is actually... Like, I was going to say, okay, we're basically taking back the play with our ramp, but now they have Llanowar Elves into Shadowfang turn 2, and I think there are very little things we can do against that now. Because I wanted to attack... Oh, they have the tap land. Don't do tap land, kids. Don't do tap lands. We need to play you on blue, probably. Rigo. Swing in. Grazilaxx, sure. And next turn we can... I think we want to Shadowfang in response to them creating a bunch of squirrels, right? That's what we want to end up with. These 2 are in play. Our Llanowar only costs 2 mana, but we're going to need triple blue. Skeletal Swarming, that can be a problem. I'm not gonna lie. They have to attack each turn, right? I really want to hold up the Llanowar. I usually, you know, I feel like I say this a lot, but I usually don't do this play, but let's draw a bunch of cards. Blue source? Oh yeah, that is a blue source. Okay. You want to hold up Spell Pierce? No, I really want to Llanowar the Shadowfang. If I do that, then I think I am going to play this on white, because I have the untapped green in the hand anyways. It's 3, yeah, let's pass turn. Let's be patient. Skeleton Swarming is a scary card. Maybe they're just scared to play the commander here. Sure, resolves. Would have again loved the untapped blue source there. Oh no, this is 3 anyways, not 2, but yeah, sure, happens. And we're going to bounce their end step in response to them creating a token here. Yep. Could have also bounced the skeletal swarming, honestly, but it's difficult. It's difficult. Now we can swing in multiple times with our time warp though, and I think that is extremely valuable. Would have loved to have a Grazilaxx on the field during all of this, but I think drawing all these cards here is still pretty good. Rigo swings in. Spell Pierce. Return to nature. Getting rid of that. Do we want to Spell Pierce that? I think we do. I think we're not going to gain too much value out of it. Oh, Fading Hope. Exactly the same card again, but like... Yep. Draw a card. That's a Toski. Oh, beautiful. We are going to play the Signet off of this. We're going to play an Jaspera Sentinel. Then we're going to hold up Fading Hope again. Skeletal Swarming is so scary. Oh no. They swing in. For 4. Let's see. Time Warp is a much better card if you can even do a tiny bit with your mana. Like, it's a card that you don't really want to cast on curve if you can help it. Yeah, Fading Hope. There you go. Bounce it in response again. Pretty neat. What are you going to do, opponent? Create tokens in response and then kill something? That would be a really nice play. And also very patient of them. Okay. Heartless Act. Sure. Do you pay? Nope, you don't. Well, yes, you do. Sorry. But this is fine, I think. Overcharged Amalgam. Exactly what we want to counter that Shadowfang again. And raise them, probably. Oh, they created 2 skeletons. Yikes. Let's see. We draw a 1-drop. Do we want to play that even more? I mean, we can just swing in first anyways, right? Let's see what we get. Yeah. There is our land. Draw a card. Yep. That's Once Upon a Time. We're searching for an Uro here. Not for a land though, but I think we take the Jaspera Sentinel. Yep. We are going to swing in again. The question is if we do play the Toski, and I assume we are playing the Toski. Yeah, let's go for Toski here. We just need to, honestly, at this point, we really need to stop these skeletons. Yep, that happens. Draw 2 cards. Yep. Oh, that's a Brazen Borrower. I think we just need to create blockers for this army of skeletons. How do we do that best? Maybe we should have played the tap land, right? But we're going to block 2 skeletons and we are going to bounce that skeletal swarming. What are they going to play here? And this gives this skeleton trample, right? Yeah, this is perfect. They're going to kill the Toski, but I think I have to let it go, right? Because they're going to sacrifice the squirrel and then kill Toski. But I will make them, like, force them to attack here and bounce this swarming, and I'm going to kill one of the skeletons, I think. And then I can counter the skeleton swabble later when it comes down again with the amalgam, and I think then I might have stabilized. Yeah. That's the play I have to make. So they swing in. Yup. If they have a dark ritual specifically in hand, this can be really bad. Because then I think they... No, they still can't play that again, even... Because they can't come out of the hand to go land Dark Ritual, Skeletal Swarming. And the Skeletal Swarming is also the card which gives the skeletons all this power. So the board just became a whole lot less scary. Oh, Boseiju, hello there. Let's see. I think I want to lead on Grazilaxx. I don't think I am going to need all this white mana here. Grazilaxx is really intense on white though, on blue I mean, and we're running out of blue here, but I think it's good to do it this way. This gives us, like, we can attack with Grazer, but then we draw a card off of it, and then we get to bounce it if they block it with Shadowfang. That's a Shaper Sanctuary, that is so disgusting. I love it. We don't have enough lands that we want to actually block this, but I mean, I guess we take the free card to our hand effectively. Like, we really don't want to play the Boseiju here, we want to deal with the skeleton swarming. Play you. And yeah, you. And we pretend to hold up a Brazen Borrower, but at the end of the day we're just going to Boseiju the we're just going to Boseiju the skeletal swarming, which is pretty great. Yep, happens. So they're forced to attack again. They are big, right? But they're also forced to attack again, and then we are just going to make them attack. Yep, and then we're just going to Boseiju the skeleton swarming. Wow, this is so great. Yep, there you go, opponent. Have your free land. Man, these lands are just coming in so clutch. Okay, they grab their land. Block here, block here, block here. They don't have any... yeah. They can't give minus because they don't have the black mana for it. Now. Next course of action. Because effectively... we lose a decent amount of mana doing this, but I think it's worth it to draw off of the Jaspera Sentinel here. Yep. Yep, return you to hand. Man, we really didn't find a land, huh? Which is pretty annoying. But oh well. The Saruli Caretaker as well. And this has flash, and the Brazen Borrower has flash. Yeah, just keep those up. I like it. So, I'm currently trying to think what are the cards that just destroy me here, because Shadowfang is not, because at least one Shadowfang activation each turn gets countered by the Kira. And then we also get to draw a card if they try to target, because we have the Sanctuary. So overall I think I'm in a great spot. Oh, they use it. Oh, very smart. I really like that. They sacrifice 0 to let us draw and deal with the Kira. Yes. That is an excellent play there by the opponent. Let's draw first. See what we get out of this. And I think I wanna... Yes. Deal with you. And they surrender. Yeah, that is a GG. Really good game. Wow, the skeleton swarming was tough to deal with, but we managed to do it. GG. We are done with the game, so I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. And yeah, Rigo Streetwise Mentor is... It's bonkers. Like, the starts you can do with Rigo are extremely explosive. You have a lot of interaction in the deck, and there is almost no matchup that you're just stone cold dead to. You can mulligan to really reasonable hands, and honestly, this deck mulligans really well because you're just recouping all the lost cards by your card advantage from the commander and just having the pure speed. Like, it doesn't matter if you start with 7 or with 4 cards. If you have the nut draw, you have the nut draw, right? Like, if you're on the play, you turn on Rigo into Arboreal Grazer, and then turn to like Rigo, Mox Amber, 1-drops all over the place. You can just have so many insane starts with this deck, and it's really great. Again, we play a ton of 1-drops, just to have all these consistent starts. The mana base is really what's holding this deck down, actually. Like, we really don't have any cute tricks in our mana base. One of the downfalls of this deck is that sometimes you're just struggling to deal damage to the opponent. And I initially thought, okay, let's try out Manlands, right? Cave of the Frost Dragon, Hall of the Storm Giants, Lair of the Hydra, those kinds of cards. But if you want to include those cards, I wouldn't cut a land. I would cut something over here. We are currently at 38 lands in this deck, and I really don't want to go down on like lands that are actually used to cast things, because the downside of coming in tapped is sometimes really real. For example, if you have a Cave of the Frost Dragon, right? You start with a green source and a cave, and you go Arboreal Grazer, bring and you like have a tap land, right? Arboreal Grazer, and you can't play the cave like the Grazer of the Cave, so you're forced into other lands, and then on turn 3 it comes into play tapped, and it's just a mess, really. Like, if you want to include manlands to finish them off, I think that is a perfectly fine choice, but you would want to cut something on the left side, basically, not a land. If you want to play this deck on a budget, what can you cut? What do you need? And I have to really stress that this is an extremely tight list. If you're missing like 50%, even like 30% of these cards, I think you really can't make this deck work, because this deck is fueled by its pure speed, consistency, and really weird interactions. Like, you really need to know the magic rules with this deck quite a bit sometimes, especially the ninjutsu rules and all the things you can and can't do with ninjutsu to make the best out of this deck. So first and foremost, what do I even talk about the ninjutsu thing? Ninjutsu, a creature that is considered still attacking, sometimes you want to swing him with your creature, draw, and the creature is still attacking before you end combat, and then you can ninjutsu something in. That is sometimes pretty useful. If you want to, for example, bring back your Overcharged Amalgam to your hand for ninjutsu interactions, which is coming up more often than you think sometimes, right? But you also want to bounce something, and you have your Moonblade, the Moonsnare Specialist, right? So you attack, you deal the 3 damage, and now you pick it up again, and then you play the Moonsnare Specialist while the Amalgam is still attacking. You bounce something for tempo, and you dealt 1 additional damage, which can really matter in this deck. A few other things to note, that, like, I have some cards that are just pure win cons, like Imrith. that I want to have one more win con, but I couldn't find any win cons that were that I was satisfied with. So yeah, just heads up, you want most of these cards for this deck. So enough rambling. You want all the mana, like everything here that produces your colors. If you don't have a Ganju, that is fine, but this deck utilizes probably the best out of all of the decks I've seen so far, because you attack with cheap creatures and they just jump them. Sometimes you, like for example in the Shadowfang game, attack with a creature just to draw a card off of it, right? And then you can Ganju and just blow them out. Otawara and Boseija are really, really good, as you've seen. So really you want the lands, like that's the first thing, but it doesn't end there. You want most of these cards. I think you can like cut the Hope, Saber Sanctuary just sometimes straight up wins certain matchups. You want the turn 1 acceleration cards, like honestly Thousand Face Shadow is the worst ninjutsu cards out of them all, from what I've gathered so far, but it's still not a bad card. Cheap interaction, if it's cheap and interaction, you need it. Like every single interactive spell, Curse of Silence, Fragment Reality, like the card has performed actually for me. Sometimes you just put it on a flyer and then they get a creature, like low to ground creature back, and it's totally fine for you, right? Yeah, like if it's interaction you want it, certainly. Then Once Upon a Time is there to smooth your draws, but honestly you can just replace it with a land, but it does smooth your draws, and it helps with your card filtering, because sometimes you have cute one-offs, in a way, that win you certain matchups against. Rakdos Control, for example, one of the best cards here would be Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, right? So your game plan can just sometimes revolve around you trying to find your Uro, and you can actually do that quite consistently in this deck with how many cards you draw with their Once Upon a Time's filtering. So there's definitely like you can find your cute one-offs, basically is what I'm saying. Yeah, Mox Ember, insane starts, absolutely insane starts. Legislator here is just another like threat that I've been trying out and I've been impressed with, really, because it triggers on each player's turn for each of their second, like, so like it can connive up to 2 times per turn in a perfect vault. More than, like, it's usually 1 per turn, but it's each player's turn, and it's just really consistent at doing that, right? And you can just go to like turn 2 Legislator into Mox Ember and you trigger it immediately, and that's just really, really great. You want the ninjas. Really, you want the ninjas. Kira has some non-bows with especially cards like Curiosity, where you target your own creatures. You can't use Curiosities anymore if you have a Kira on the board, but it's still just so backbreaking in certain matchups. Wandering Emperor, it's a flash threat. That's the basic idea. Like, if it's big, it better draw you a ton of cards, B, basically be able to win the game on its own, C, be resilient, or just have flash, right? And all of these, like if it's 4 mana or higher, you need to have a really good reason to put it into this deck. Nightpack Ambusher, flash. Toski, really hard to deal with and draws you a ton of cards. Overcharge Amalgam, flash and is interaction and just excellent to pick up with ninjutsu. Wandering Emperor, flash, and then Time Warp basically costs 0 because you untap immediately with it if it resolves, right? And you can just make sure that it resolves even against a control deck. And Imrith can just win the game on its own, right? And it's quite annoying to deal with, actually. A few more cards that I was testing that haven't been super impactful, but if you think it's great in the like current meta that you're playing, go ahead. And the one card I'm actually thinking of right now is Archon of Emeria. Let's actually just search for that. I usually don't do that very often, but this card I really wanted to talk about. Archon of Emeria, and then there is a very similar card in the form of a 3-mana enchantment that I don't even remember anymore the name of, but I know it's basically we have 2 copies of this effect, but this is on a creature and I think this is just slightly better for that purpose. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. You might think this is a downside in this deck, but it's really not that big. And it's also a reason why we can play Nightpack Ambusher so well in this deck and trigger it multiple times. The big reason here is ninjutsu is an activated ability, not a cast. So they need to counter the trigger, and the card still stays in hand, but they can't actually counter, they can't counterspell a ninjutsu ability. So what does this mean for you? You already have like a few 1-drops in play, and now you drop your Nightpack Ambusher, and now you just ninjutsu off your 1-drops. You still spend your mana, you hold up maybe 1 or 2 mana for counterspells during their turn, and you're just expanding your board into a, that will just kill them in a couple of turns, and it's really, really threatening. On the flip side, something like Archon of Emeria, you can play around really, really well, because you have a few flash interaction pieces that you can utilize. So you can also cast something during their turn, but you can also just, you play your 1-drop for turn, that's your 1 spell. Or you ninjutsu, play your 1-drop again, right? That's 1 spell, and then you keep up flash interaction, and it's really, really obnoxious for the opponent to deal with. I just haven't found Archon to be too relevant in a lot of matchups where I wanted to do good things. This card is obviously at its best against combo decks, but combo decks just get absolutely destroyed by this list anyways, right? You have so much cheap interaction counter magic, and you can just you just draw so many cards and draw so much interaction that combo can't really deal with you, that I think Archon is not at its greatest in the current meta, but is definitely an extremely, extremely busted card to watch out for in this deck. Yeah, this is basically my list. There are probably a bunch of improvements you can do to it, but I found a lot of success with it. I'm I don't know what, 82% win rate right now over the course of, I think, 50 games? Yeah, this deck absolutely slaps. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.